At first blush, you might think that the 2 blank sentence completion questions would be twice as hard as the 1 blanks. 2 blanks means twice as much work, right? But in fact, they're not actually more difficult. For some students, they're even easier. This makes more sense once you remember how to solve the sentence completion questions. The best way to work through them is in 2 steps. Step 1. Define the blanks. Use context clues in the sentence to figure out what the words in the blanks will mean. Step 2. Match your answer. Pick the answer that provides the words you need for both blanks. With 1 blank sentence completions, you only have 1 shot at the answer, but with 2 blanks, you get 2 chances to eliminate each answer. Remember that both words have to match. If even one is wrong, you can confidently eliminate the whole answer without even knowing the other. That makes 2 blank sentence completions a lot more forgiving if your vocabulary isn't quite where you'd like it to be. So go ahead and try it out below, with 2 example questions to show you how it's done. Here's the first question. Take a look at the sentence first. Despite his reputation for blank and carelessness in his academic work, Alexander was always very blank when working on his personal projects. Step 1 is just to define the blanks. So what kind of words do you think would go in each blank, and why? The context clues in this sentence indicate that the first blank should be something like carelessness. You might try something like laziness, sloppiness, or making mistakes. On the other hand, the second blank should be something that's the opposite, because the sentence contrasts carelessness in his academic work with the blank when working on his personal projects. So some words that might work for the second blank are careful, thorough, or precise. Now on to the answer choices. Here are your options. Let's go through the answers one by one. In choice A, intransigence means stubbornness. It doesn't fit with the idea of carelessness or laziness, so you can cross off A right away. Remember, if either one of the words is wrong, the whole answer goes out the window. Moving on to B, contrition means being sorry about something. That also doesn't work with carelessness, so B is out. In choice C, negligence is carelessness. Think of the same root word in neglect. And meticulousness means that you pay attention to the details, which seems to fit with the second word as well, so this one may be a candidate. In choice D, haste might work for the first blank, but hapless doesn't fit the second blank at all. It means unlucky, which has nothing to do with being careful. Again, if it's half wrong, it's all wrong, so get rid of it. It's looking pretty good for C right now, but always read through all the answer choices just to make sure. In E, penury lets you eliminate the answer right away. This means poverty, which doesn't fit the clue. So C is the only answer choice left. Read it back into the sentence to double check. Despite his reputation for negligence and carelessness in his academic work, Alexander was always very meticulous when working on his personal projects. Yep, that checks out. C is the answer you're looking for. Ready to try another one with a little less help this time? Here's the sentence. Under steady pressure to blank, the firm eventually had to replace its outdated equipment and blank accounting systems with newer, more efficient versions. Let's take a moment before you look at the answer choices to think of what words should go in the blanks. What are your context clues? Ready for the answer choices now? Here you go. Now, take a few moments to eliminate what you can and pick your best guess for the correct answer. Remember that both words have to fit the sentence for the answer to be correct. Ready to check your work? The answer's coming up, so pause the video if you need more time to think. The correct answer is A. It's actually easier to start with the second blank here because there's a clear clue. The parallel between outdated equipment and blank accounting systems tells you that the blank will mean something like outdated. Here's what your words mean for the second blank. Obsolete, out of date. Implacable, not able to be pleased or calm down. Unique, one of a kind. Upgraded, better or improved. Dated, out of date. As you can see, you can easily cross off everything but A and E just by looking at the second word, since both of the words have to match. Now let's just look at A and E. For the first blank, we want a kind of pressure that would result in replacing outdated equipment with new and better things. So we're looking for something like improve its equipment or get with the times. Modernize in choice A fits well, but homogenize in choice E doesn't work at all. This word means to make everything the same, which has nothing to do with improvement or getting rid of outdated equipment. Since one of the words for choice E doesn't work, we can eliminate it and we're left with A as the correct answer. Just to check, let's plug it back in. Under steady pressure to modernize, the firm eventually had to replace its outdated equipment and obsolete accounting systems with newer, more efficient versions. That checks out. In this lesson, you worked through a pair of 2 blank sentence completion questions, first with a lot of help, and then a little more on your own. You practiced the 2-step method for finding the answer. First, identify what should go in the blank, and second, match that to the answer choices. You practiced 2 slightly different methods of matching to the answer choices in each question. In the first one, you went through from A to E, and on the second, you started with one of the blanks and eliminated based on that, and then moved on to the remaining answers. Both methods are equally good. Use whatever one feels more comfortable for you. Now it's time to get even more practice on your own. Check out the quiz for 5 more practice questions, and keep a pen and paper handy to write down any unfamiliar vocab words. These words aren't defined for you in the quiz answers. It's better for you to write them down and look them up for yourself. Good luck!